From childhood, we're all taught that honesty is the best policy. But what happens when being honest actually costs someone their life and robs a poor family of their only hope? Today, we're diving into a heartbreaking true story from Bangladesh that shook the entire nation back in 2023. The brutality of this crime sparked outrage across the country, and people were furious, rightfully so. The case became infamously known as the Shibli Sadik Hriday case. But what really happened, and how did honesty play a role in this tragedy? Let's walk through the entire story step by step. By the end, when you hear what the local villagers did to one of the accused, you'll be stunned. So make sure to stick around till the end. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to David's Crime Channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss these real-life stories. This disturbing case centers around a 20-year-old Bangladeshi boy named Shibli Sadik Hriday, born in the Chattogram region of Bangladesh. He came from a very poor family. His parents struggled daily just to put food on the table. His father worked as a truck driver. Despite their poverty, Shibli was a bright student. Determined to improve his family's situation, he enrolled in college. But knowing how tight money was, he didn't want to burden his parents. So he took a job as a supervisor at a local chicken farm nearby. The farm had about 6 or 7 workers, and Shibli was the youngest among them. Because he was educated and responsible, the owner put him in charge of the entire operation. The other workers followed his instructions, even if they weren't thrilled about it. Every day, Shibli would leave for work in the morning and return home in the evening, until one day he didn't come back. On August 28, 2023, Shibli left for work as usual, but never returned home. As the evening turned to night, his family grew worried. They tried calling him, but his phone was switched off. They reached out to friends and acquaintances, but no one had seen or heard from him. Hours later, just when panic was setting in, Shibli's mother, Nahid Akhtar, received a call from his number. On the other end, a terrified, crying Shibli whispered, "Some men have kidnapped me. Please, give them whatever money they ask for. Just save me." Before she could respond, the call disconnected. They tried calling back, but there was no answer. A few hours later, another call came in, from a different number. This time, the voice on the line coldly demanded 1.5 million Bangladeshi taka if they wanted Shibli back alive. For his poor family, that amount was completely out of reach. Still, they scraped together whatever they could. After exhausting every option, Shibli's father could only manage to gather 200,000 taka, a mere fraction of the demand. When the kidnappers called again, Shibli's father pleaded with them to accept the lower amount. Surprisingly, they agreed. They told him to bring the money to a location in Bandarban on September 4, 2023. Desperate and hopeful, Shibli's father went to the meeting spot, handed over the money, and was warned, "Tell the police, and your son dies." They also promised that Shibli would be returned by the evening. Hopeful, the family waited, and waited, but hours passed, then days, and there was still no sign of Shibli. Fearing the worst, the family finally reported the case to the police at the Rauzan police station. The investigation began, and during initial questioning, Shibli's mother told the police that her son had once had a serious conflict with a few co-workers at the poultry farm. Acting on this tip, the police quickly zeroed in on the farm workers. One by one, 6 individuals were arrested. The first arrest was made on September 10th, and the men taken into custody included Umang Ching Mama, Swishing Mung Mama, Angat Mung Mama, and Dukat My Mama. all belonging to the Mama ethnic minority group in Bangladesh. 2 more suspects were later arrested as well. At first, none of the accused admitted to knowing anything about Shibli's disappearance. But under tougher interrogation, one of the 6 finally broke and revealed that they had all acted on the instructions of Umang Ching Mama, who then became the prime suspect. At first, Umang denied everything, but as pressure mounted, he began confessing to the horrifying truth. He admitted that they had kidnapped Shibli, accepted the ransom money, and then murdered him just hours after abducting him. The ransom demand? That was just a ploy to delay the family from going to the police. Umang kept half the ransom for himself and split the remaining half equally among his 5 accomplices. When asked where Shibli's body was, Umang gave even more chilling details. They had taken Shibli to a remote mountainous area called Kudpur, killed him on a hilltop, stripped the flesh from his bones, broke the bones into pieces, and scattered them in different directions to hide the evidence. The flesh was disposed of elsewhere. But the most grotesque part? One of the accused even claimed that Umang Ching Mama had cooked and eaten a portion of Shibli's flesh. When this sickening detail leaked to the media, the entire nation erupted in horror. Though the cannibalism claim couldn't be proven later by investigators, the story had already sparked communal tensions, since all the accused were from a religious and ethnic minority. Why did they kill him so brutally? According to Umang's confession, it all began at the poultry farm. The other workers were lazy and often stole from the business. Shibli, being honest and responsible, repeatedly warned them to stop or he'd report them to the owner. This led to tension and arguments. The owner eventually stepped in and declared that Shibli was in charge and everyone had to follow his lead. The workers resented him even more after that. Umang eventually came up with the idea to kidnap Shibli, hoping they could extort a big ransom. But once they realized that Shibli had recognized his kidnappers and could identify them, they panicked. They feared that letting him go would mean going to jail. So they made a horrifying decision. Shibli had to die. On the evening of the abduction, 2 of them held Shibli down while Umang strangled him until he stopped breathing. Afterward, they dismembered his body and dumped the remains in remote locations. Even after killing him, they kept calling his parents for ransom money, just to throw them off and buy time. Eventually, the family went to the police, and the investigation unraveled the entire conspiracy. Based on Umang's confession, the police launched a search operation on the Kudpur Hill, and after hours of searching, they finally recovered skeletal remains. Just when the police were about to leave the crime scene with the suspects in custody, something unexpected happened. News of the confessions had spread like wildfire. Locals, furious over the cruelty of the crime, gathered in huge numbers at the scene. As police were loading the suspects into their vehicles, an angry mob attacked. Despite officers trying their best to control the situation, the crowd overpowered them and dragged Umang Ching Mama out of the police vehicle. Within minutes, the mob beat Umang to death right there on the spot. The other suspects were somehow safely removed by police and taken into custody. The investigation confirmed that Umang Ching Mama was the mastermind behind the entire crime. Though the cannibalism rumor could not be proven, the rest of the evidence was strong enough. The trial is still ongoing in court, and soon, justice will be served. So what do you think should happen to the remaining accused? Let us know in the comments. If you appreciated our deep dive into this tragic story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to David's Crime World. Thanks for watching.